Hey, good morning, everybody. The toast is toasting, the butter is buttering, and the stimulus is in the CR. On Sunday, this channel pushed for stimulus to go into the CR. And late yesterday, Mitch McConnell confirmed that stimulus will be in a CR. This is big because ultimately, stimulus not in a CR would never get done. There would be no deadline. Meantime, what are the deal provisions? What's going on? And how is the Purple Power pushing to get stimulus checks into the CR and get them out right away? Meantime, what is Nancy Pelosi trying to do to undermine the entire situation? It's very tricky. And why does this sirloin get stimulus again? No joke. I had to go last night to the casino and ask him, Sirloin, did you get stimulus again? Oh, move on over. I'm like, how did you get stimulus in another CR? I'm a cow, that's how we do it. But now a cow and Finding Nemo got stimulus in the next CR. This is the second CR in a row in which the farmers got stimulus, but not the American citizens. Well, that's the benefit of $12 ice cream. So what do we need to do to get stimulus in our CR? We need a stimulus check in the CR, Sirloin. We need your help. Well, what I would recommend is more gift certificates to supercuts. Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Morning's LALATE, and boy, what a big day it is, with a lot of developments, a lot of confusion, a lot of things to go over, and the incredible news is that stimulus in a CR would give a deadline of December 11th, but last night on Purple Power Live, 100% of the no less than 7,000 viewers in the Purple Power Live said that they believe the government's going to shut down on December 11th and not so that they don't have to give us our stimulus checks. What do you think in the comments? Drop it below if you think, and this is the big question of the day, if the new hashtag for this channel should be shut down for stimulus. Should the federal government be pushed to a shutdown if they don't put stimulus checks into our CR? I think I know your answer. But meantime, if you're not subscribed to this channel, please do, because this channel had no less than 12 success stories overnight. This is for rent, utilities, EIDL, and escalated benefits. Ultimately, whatever's going on with the CR is the CR. But what I'm doing is I'm getting people money right now, not 5 days from now, not 5 weeks from now. And as one viewer said last night, I can't even wait a week. I need you to help me right now, LLA. And thank you. This made the difference because in about a week from now, I would have been homeless. Now, we're also helping people who are homeless as well. So please understand that all of you qualify for this money. Big money, $5,000, $10,000, upwards of $20,000. There's stimulus for everyone, whether it's a $300 utility grant or it's $20,000 in rent. I want you to subscribe because throughout the day, me and the incredible 9 volunteers of this channel who are posted and updated hourly, on youtube.com/LLA/community are helping to get you thousands of dollars within a 24-hour turnaround time. So ultimately, I'm going to update you about the CR in a second, but I'm also going to tell you how to get that grant money. Meantime, in this video, also like this video, because there's going to be some cows in the video. All right, in this video, there's a lot of stuff to go over. I mean, first, what did Nancy do to go around Mitch McConnell overnight? Oh, my goodness. Very tricky, and I caught it, Nancy. I see what you're doing. Second, what did Mitch McConnell do yesterday? What is Purple Power doing with Mitch McConnell today? What happened to those 3 horrible bills yesterday? Where are we this morning? What is the President Donald Trump going to be doing, and what is he going to be saying today? Meantime, what is Joe Biden doing, the president-elect? And then we turn to SSI and SSDI. $2,400 if you're on SSI and SSDI. Where is that? Where's hazard pay? Finally, I want to get to those grants. really exciting. We're getting so much money for people. This is really exciting news. Ultimately, Congress and all those people can make you a little bit, antsy. But the excitement is that viewers are getting money across the board, and I want to get you money today if you have not gotten any as well. That's all coming up, so let's get to the breaking news. The breaking news is that while no less than $300,000 has been gotten by viewers of this channel for CARES Act 1 grants, Congress is once again getting confused about how to get out a simple stimulus check. Yesterday, there was a lot of realm of confusion, so let me recap where we are as of 9 a.m. Pacific Standard, or 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. First, there were 3 bills introduced yesterday to the Senate. All of them are junk. They're never going to see light of day. I'm not going to talk about them anymore. 3 bills. They're actually bills. Okay, those gone. Next. Yesterday, Mitch McConnell issued a press release and said, you know what? I am not doing stimulus bills. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put stimulus into the CR. Thank goodness. This is what the Purple Power with this channel started on Sunday. On Sunday, I started a hashtag campaign, CR for stimulus. And yesterday, Mitch McConnell heard your messaging and said, yes, we're putting stimulus into the CR. What's important to understand about this is that doing standalone stimulus bills during the holidays for emergency purposes only, I'm not talking about a complete, robust stimulus bill, but just emergency stimulus bills would never get passed because there's no way to get them passed because there's no urgency. By putting stimulus into the CR, which has a December 11th deadline, that forces it to be done by December 11th. What's the CR that I keep on referring to? Let me explain. The federal government every 3 months has to do a budget bill. The budget bill determines the running of the federal government, the budget to run the federal government. It's not stimulus. It's not a stimulus bill. It's called a continuing resolution. This is a budget bill. CR stands for continuing resolution. We say continuing resolution. We say CR because it's easier to say than continuing resolution. I can't even say it. So the CR has to be done every 3 months. Now, since the pandemic started, they have put little bits and pieces of emergency stimulus in it. The CR has a deadline, and it has to be approved by the Senate, the House, and signed by the President. If one of those groups does not agree to it, it does not pass, and the federal government shuts down. There's no way to get around it. There's literally no way to squirm out of this one for Congress. So it literally shuts down on that day. The last CR was negotiated by Nancy Pelosi and Steve Mnuchin, and then when it landed in the Senate, Mitch McConnell said, no, I have problems with it. I need certain things in it. And then it came back and it got changed and worked around. Ultimately, the cows and the farmers got an emergency stimulus in the CR last time, hence sirloin. This time around, we had urged stimulus to go into the CR, emergency stimulus, because of a few reasons. One, it would force the stimulus to be done by no later than December 11th, but actually earlier, because CRs are usually approved weeks in ahead of time. They're not approved at the 11th hour. It's too scary. You can't approve it on December 10th because literally the next day the federal government shuts down. So we had pushed it into the CR because that would get stimulus done. Second, we fully understand, and you and I understand as well, that the CR stimulus would be emergency-only stimulus. It would not be everything that we need. Everything that we need would come in a January bill. This is just emergency stimulus. And the most important 5 items for emergency stimulus are a stimulus check, just one for now. It does not have to be an enormous stimulus check. It's just one stimulus check. Other stimulus checks would come in January. Then an extension of PUA, which expires in December, an extension of UI, which expires in December, rent eviction moratorium, so you would not be evicted because that expires in December, mortgage forbearance, so you would not be foreclosed upon because that expires in December, and potentially student loan debt repayment because that expires in December. Done. Now, we would like to have FPUC in there, but FPUC is very expensive, and ultimately, my opinion is the following. FPUC would be messed around with and botched It would not be done right, and they would say, okay, we're going to do FPUC for like 1 week, and then we come back in January and say, oh, well, we already did FPUC back for 1 week. We're not going back to July. They'd mess you up now with the FPUC and not fix it in January. So ultimately, you don't want someone to touch something that can't be done correctly this time. So in a way, FPUC was highly unlikely to ever get in the CR. So late yesterday, Mitch McConnell did the following. He went to the White House and spoke to the president and asked the president, what do you want in your CR? Mitch McConnell then told press that ultimately the president decides what he wants in the CR because he's the one who signs the bill. Now, this is very important. This is very important. This is the first time that we've heard Mitch McConnell and the president working hand in hand in this type of incredible ability for months. Second, I can't recall the last time that Mitch McConnell went to the White House to actually speak to the president face to face about a stimulus issue. This is also really good. Fourth, Pete Navarro, who's a very sort of light, rebellious, sort of talk from his hip type of guy at the White House, said just a few days ago, the president wants to exit on a nice stimulus package to help Americans during the holidays. Well, amen. Finally, we all know the president has said no less than every single month since the month of June that he wants to give you a stimulus check and that the stimulus check would be more than the Temple of Doom. Bottom line is that by the end of yesterday, the president had not made a determination of what he wants in the CR. So between you and I sitting here right now, we have no determination yet from the president about what he wants in the CR. It's a working subject. It's not resolved. It's still up for grabs. Okay, so then later in the day, Mitch McConnell wrote a memo. Mitch McConnell loves to write. There's no dispute about that. He just loves to write. And he writes really well, usually. Just the substance is crap. So he wrote some more substance crap. And he sent it around in a memo. It's not a bill. It's a memo. It's not even a draft of a bill. It's a memo. It looks like, a shopping list to go to the market. That's basically what it looks like. It's 5 pieces of paper. And it basically said, here's some ideas of what I think we should maybe have in it. He sent it to fellow senators, who are, of course, Republicans, to see what they said about it. We don't know their input on it. Now, the memo is junk. It's really bad junk. There's 2 things that are good in it, and the rest of them are junk. The 2 things that are good in there is extension of PUA, thank goodness, extension of UI, thank goodness, and then the rest is junk. There is no stimulus check. There is no eviction moratorium, which is just insane. It's inhumane. There's no mortgage forbearance, and there's no student loan repayment. Meantime, not only is it missing incredibly urgent things like the stimulus check and eviction moratorium. I mean, you absolutely categorically have to have those things. It's just without a doubt. Then it also has stuff in here that absolutely should not be in here. It has in here a deduction. You could tax deduct for the entire year of 2019 your business lunches. What? Wait a second, the restaurants are closed. Who's going to run out and start going to a restaurant to deduct lunches in the last week of December so you have a... what? What are you talking about, Mitch? Then there's a bailout of the fishing industry. Okay, if we start doing bailouts, then everyone can get their bailouts and do them in January. This is not a bailout situation. And then there's more money for the cows. So needless to say, this is not good, but it's a starting point. Thank goodness he has FPUC and, PUA and UI in here. Now, so what the Purple Power has been doing since last night, incredible work, and keep on doing it, I'm so proud of you, is to tag McConnell's press secretary on Twitter, McConnell's communications director on Twitter. They both have very small Twitter accounts, less than 5,000, 4,000 followers, and say, please put a stimulus check in the CR. Now, this is the messaging for the start of today. Its potential, and I'm going to ask in a series of polls throughout the day, if viewers think that the messaging should be a little bit more aggressive. Some viewers, well, let me go back. Last night on Purple Power Live, I asked viewers, do you think that the CR will not be agreed upon and the federal government will shut down? 100% of the viewers said yes. Now, what's incredibly interesting about that notion is that perhaps the Purple Power should say, you know what, give us a stimulus check, or I'm going to tell all the senators to shut down the federal government because this is just silliness. We all need a stimulus check, and now this is our payback, ironically, we're going to shut down the federal government by urging everyone to just not vote for this thing. Do you want me to do that? We can get this narrative out if you want. Meantime, what did Nancy Pelosi do? God, it's just so sneaky. It's just very Real Housewife of Atlanta-ish. You know what she did yesterday? After Chuck Schumer just called Mitch McConnell every name throughout the entire day, Nancy Pelosi called up Steve Mnuchin for the first time since October and said, "Hi, Steve, I want to negotiate the CR with you so we can just do a clean CR and no stimulus in it." So she knew that Mitch McConnell is the single voice now of the Republicans, the lead voice behind the president to get a CR done. And she avoided talking to him because she can't stand him. And after Chuck Schumer had called him names all throughout the day, then what she did was she went around Mitch and called Steve Mnuchin to try to do a backdoor deal and cut Mitch McConnell out. Do you think Steve Mnuchin's going to do that? No, Nancy. That's just silly, and it's actually sort of, everyone sees that. It's really tacky. It's just not professional either. It's very disrespectful as a member of Congress to be acting like that. But that's her. So then, how about your $24 in SSI and SSDI? I can't believe that one. What's going on with that? Not going to be in this. It would be shortly thereafter. $2,400 if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security and Railroad benefits. $200 a month, every month, all the way from now to December of next year. Plus upwards of a 20% increase lifetime. So if you're making $1,000 a month now, you would get $1,200 a month lifetime, but we're not done there. After a year, they would look at everyone's benefits and see, okay, do we need to raise them up based upon what's going on in the economy? And so instead of $1,200, you could be getting $1,250 because they will tie you to a new benchmark different than COLA. The new benchmark would move up faster than COLA does, which COLA just is flat, like a bad San Francisco hairstyle. So COLA just isn't moving any higher, so this is all really good news. Next, the grants. The grants, the escalated benefits, and the EIDL. Here is what I want to tell you, which is brand new this morning for the grants. We have been talking about contacting your city hall, your state hall, your city hall, your county hall, and your state housing authority. A few things developed yesterday that showed how you have to think out of the box. First, one viewer found in New York that they are doing rent grants in New York. And they are doing them from the state government. They're in a state housing department that is not the state housing authority. It's another department, NHA. So that was an example of how a person got rent grant from a department of the state that was not a department that you and I thought would be writing the grants. First example. Second, in Houston. Houston was not doing rent grants from the city of Houston, but viewers were getting rent grants from this channel and from the volunteers because we were telling them there was a religious charity that was paying the rent grants in Houston. That religious charity in Houston has now shut down that rent grant, but now the city of Houston is issuing grants to all its residents, and congratulations to Houston. Then, cities like San Diego never had rent grants. They're now opening rent grants. Cities like Broward County had rent grants, are reportedly now closing the rent grants either today or yesterday. So things are moving very quickly. Then I have incredible viewers who I really want to urge you to join me every night on Purple Power Live, not just because I want viewership, but because the information that the viewers are bringing to this channel is sometimes even better than my information. Last night on Purple Power Live, I had viewers tell us about the New York thing. Then I had a viewer tell us about a religious organization that's paying all the rent grants in Mississippi. I had another viewer tell me something in private, the night before I had someone in Purple Power Live tell about another private organization paying all the rent grants in Kentucky. So these things are coming out because other viewers are from your state and they're going into Purple Power Live to say, "Hi, I got a rent grant from this." What's also really good is that the volunteers are in the chat. At least one or two of them out of the 9 are in the chat. So they're seeing these breaking developments and are taking notes as well. Reach out to the volunteers there at youtube.com/LALATE/community. I post them throughout the day, every few 2-3 hours. The words volunteers appear at the top of the article. Then, escalate benefits. I need you to do escalate benefits right away, and I need you to certify for benefits every week. There's always someone that will say something to the effect of, well, how about FPUC here and how about FPUC there? I want you to understand that escalated benefits is more, in some cases, than FPUC. It is more, and it's more weeks than FPUC. A lot of the FPUC we're talking about retroactively is till September. But when we talk about escalated benefits, we're talking about weeks. Now, one thing I want to make very clear, which one viewer sort of tipped me off to earlier in one of the recordings, is that you can get escalated benefits when you are unemployed for the weeks you're unemployed, even if you're employed now. So if you're unemployed from March to September, but are employed now, you can get escalated benefits from March to September. Next, EIDL, please get it, SBA.gov. I don't believe it's going to be around much longer. Economic injury disaster, nothing gets repaid within the first year. All very simple. To do an escalated benefit for your unemployment, get that tax return. Put it on you're going to have to send it electronically, either by email or through the website. Some people are doing fax, but I don't want to use US mail because it's just too slow. Someone said, what does scan mean? Take a picture of the tax return, put it in your phone, and then send it. You have to send them a physical image copy of the tax return and follow up with them every single day. I'll be updating more throughout the day on holidays in LA and elsewhere at 12 noon about how to do escalated benefits if you've not heard it already. Then EIDL. Get EIDL in as quickly as possible and make sure you check your Experian Advantage 3.0 score before you apply 570 or higher. If you have questions or comments in today's video, drop them in the comments below and I might feature them in tomorrow's recording. Coming up at 12 noon is Holidays LLA. Been a big hit lately. I've gone live. I haven't decided if I'll go live today. If you want me to go live on Holidays LLA, drop a comment. I'd love to hear your input. As always, stay informed, stay focused, and stay in LA for more.